It's your turn. I know it is. I concede my place to you for now. You don't concede anything. It's mine. He lives here now. Well, he's just on vacation there. He has a house. You gave it to him. Yeah, but he's the one living in it. Well, he left his Poogie here. He'll be back. Well, until he is, I'll be the one reading what people have to say about the series. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, welcome one and all to your regular dose of people yelling about things. Whether good or bad, there will be yelling. Whether from me or at me, it will happen. Almost definitely it will be me who's yelling, though. That's just the nature of what we're doing here. After all, this entire process is based around me reading people's opinions about the Monster Hunter series as a whole. And not just any opinions, because not all opinions are noteworthy. And unfortunately, most of the ones that I will be sharing today are simply worthy of a footnote, not like an actual good note. Like one that you'd keep in a Trapper Keeper. That's a good note. You see, sometimes an opinion is just entirely unfounded, either presenting incorrect information as a fact, or even being downright insulting for no reason, and it just makes me need to stop and vent out more frustration than an enraged Baroth, and without the cute train noises too. That said, firstly, a quick disclaimer that I don't hate or even dislike any of the people who said these things. I just heavily disagree with whatever it is that they happen to say in the moment. No hard feelings, and I mean it. After all, what I do hope for at the end of the day is that the whole Monster Hunter community can just come together and be this big happy family that gets along. As well, if you do get the same enjoyment that I do from angrily mumbling to myself over these takes, then have a follow over at the Bad Monster Hunter Takes Twitter account at MHTakes, who has been collecting a large number of people's bad takes on the series. Alright, Fugan, if you'd like to get us started. Oh, yes, from an article from Kotaku titled Monster Hunter Rise is tough to get into as a newcomer. For all intents and purposes, I am new to Monster Hunter. I played about an hour of Monster Hunter World, which one colleague described as nothing. Wait, let me stop you right there. 1 hour of nearly any video game is pretty much nothing. That is tutorial, maybe a bit more, maybe not even more. In most games, it's not unusual for an hour to not be considered a large portion of a game. Move on to something that actually matters though, please. Fugan. Oh, sorry, first, my roommate and I spent 1 metric eternity going through all the character creator segments. We both went online, a process that involved not navigating the menus as it would be in any other game, but talking to a palico. I didn't see where my friend's invite went, so I opened up the list of open lobbies and just so happened to stumble upon his. Okay, look, this is a very long article and I can stop at various points, but I need to stop here. I need to stop this stuff right here. I have talked previously on this show about why it is far more important for a game journalist to get this type of stuff right than it is for an average person. An average person won't be able to affect the opinion of too many other people by themselves. But this article right here is something that someone was paid to make, that people will see when they search up Monster Hunter Rise, something people will see instantly upon looking for the new player experience of the game, for how it feels, and you didn't even bother to read the fricking tutorial pop-ups. The game straight up tells you, it teaches you each of these things one at a time as you explore the village, you talk to the NPCs. This is an RPG, it isn't some storyless multiplayer shooter where you launch it and instantly load into a lobby and aimlessly murder people. You are expected to care about your character and your sense of progression. And no, this game is not necessarily easy to get into as a newcomer to the series. I admit that. I'm not saying that it is, but I am saying that the reasons you're complaining about it, the reasons that you're saying it's not easy to get into as a newcomer are absolutely asinine and just factually incorrect, and will turn people away before they even get to your actual genuine problems that exist within the game. How on earth you managed to search for an open lobby before you found your friend's lobby is insane to me, given that to do that you must have literally gone through the initial tutorial pop-up for the courier, which explains online entirely, then also seen the friends list button on the list that is just always there, where you can easily join friends, and also completely ignored that, and then ignored any sort of way like the lobby IDs maybe to find your friend, except for searching through the open lobbies. The best part is your roommate was doing all of this with you, alongside you, meaning that they probably must have also skipped the pop-up tutorials and ignored the menu options, all for you to put up an article dissuading people from trying this game
you didn't even remotely give a fair chance to. It's true, this series is hard to get into as a newcomer, but you know what makes it way harder for people to get into? When people tell you to not even freaking try because they chose not to read something that pops up right on your screen, and then complain about that game and say that it doesn't tell you anything. Fugan, you're a world baby. If the game don't play like World, you're thrown off. Not a real hunter, so I don't think you can pass off quality judgment. I like my hunters to have played the older games. You said since its inception in World. Gunlance has been around way longer than World/Iceborne. I have shown many posts being just as aggressive from the opposite side of this, which makes it even more important to show this one and say that this is not okay either. No matter what game you started playing the Monster Hunter series in, you don't get the right to make fun of other hunters for when they started. It doesn't matter. Video games are not some weird cult. Monster Hunter is not this strict set of rules that you have to follow or else you aren't a real Monster Hunter fan. I don't even know what this is originally in reference to. Clearly, the person they're responding to just made a mistake. Shit happens. What doesn't just happen, though, is being a prick to someone just for the sake of it. If you truly loved the series, you would want the series to grow. More eyes on the series means that the dev team gets more to work with. And in the end, this results in bigger and better Monster Hunter games. So why on earth are you trying to keep people out of the game? What's the actual point of gatekeeping in general as a concept? I just don't see what anyone stands to gain in any way. Fugan, might be a cool idea to push multiplayer or a reason to share quests with other players. Let's say there is MH Rise X and MH Rise Y. Both editions have 10 unique monsters to them, and the quest can only be posted if you have that specific edition. But both versions can multiplayer with each other. So if you want monster gear from Y and you have X, you gotta find someone who has the quest up. Oh my god, no. First up, not even everyone can play multiplayer. The ability to play multiplayer is something that you have to pay for. Now, the price isn't steep on the Nintendo Switch, but it is an extra price, and that is something to consider right off the bat. Secondly, just hell no. Being able to solo quests is an integral part of the Monster Hunter experience. Sure, multiplayer is a big focus of the games, and a big draw of the series, and in fact, one of the original inspirations for the series as a whole was multiplayer. But there are a large number of people who just like to hunt things by themselves, and while there have occasionally been things in the past that were not quite completable solo by anyone but the absolute best of players, that is nowhere close to the equivalent of being locked off of 10 or more monsters due to this. Not only do you not need to encourage multiplayer in this way, but even if you were that worried about the multiplayer player base, there must be 1,000 better and simpler ideas than creating 10 extra monsters unique to a secondary version of the game. I get that it is a thing that Pokemon does, but I've always hated that about the Pokemon series. Why do they do that? I don't get why anyone would think of it as a positive thing that the series does. It's just a thing that they do. So for the love of all that is holy, do not bring that type of system to my Monster Hunter games. Fugan, SOS destroyed the old spirit of Monster Hunters Online, trading a sense of cooperation and mutual commitment for convenience. Such a shame. This is one I'm going to be a little bit more calm about, because the initial post is quite relaxed, it's quite reasonable. While I definitely disagree with parts of the statement, I don't think that you voiced it in a disrespectful way, and as such, I will not be responding to you in a disrespectful way. In fact, I'll be very honest with you. Monster Hunters Online in old games scares me a little bit. I know it might be hard to believe because of how much I talk into a microphone and talk to all you guys, but I have some pretty bad social anxiety when talking to people I don't know, to people I consider to be strangers, and I have played some older Monster Hunter games, and the lobbies scared me. I know very rarely will you come across a person who is rude in any way, but I just feel way more comfortable as a person if I have the option to avoid this communication. That's essentially what the SOS flares and now the join request system are. You can still set up full-on lobbies for the exact purpose that you want to. They didn't remove any of the features from this game that you are talking about. All they did is add on an option for people who just aren't quite as socially inclined. Personally, the way I see it, anytime a feature is put into a video game without another feature being directly taken out or removed, It's a positive, and this is one of those situations. It doesn't particularly negatively affect you while adding on an option for people with different preferences. I really do respect that you were able to deliver this opinion without being straight up rude though, whoever you are out there in the void. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been some particularly hot takes. It's too bad that we no longer have the cool drink to make them feel better. Do you have anything to say about these outrageous opinions yourself? How do you feel about Fugin taking over the commander's job? Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.